Imagine this. You're a Roman slave, and you're holding a knife inches away from Julius Caesar. Rome, 63 BC. A city of stone and whispers, where ambition coiled like a serpent and betrayal hung heavy in the air. Among the countless slaves serving Rome's powerful elite, one man, Vettius, listened with a silent intensity. Born into chains, sold young, he moved through the grand villas with eyes downcast, yet always observing. Vettius belonged to a powerful Roman family, a household steeped in old money and bitter rivalries, especially against a rising star of the Republic, Julius Caesar. One evening, serving wine to his master and his master's guests, Vettius heard a name whispered with venom, Caesar. The men, emboldened by drink, spoke carelessly of restoring the Republic and of removing the threat Caesar had become. What Vettius heard was not mere politics, but a plot for murder, plans set in motion. Yet, what he did next, no one could have predicted. He didn't report it. He didn't warn Caesar. Instead, a cold resolve settled within him. This was his moment, his justice, his legacy. In the days that followed, Vettius moved through the villa like a ghost, watching, waiting, studying Caesar's movements in the bustling forum. He acquired a crude, chipped dagger, hidden carefully beneath his slave tunic, not for defense, but for destiny. The day arrived, a humid morning. The forum, a chaotic symphony of voices and footsteps. Caesar was scheduled to pass through, briefly, with minimal guard. Vettius slipped into the surging crowd, the crude blade pressed against his chest, invisible, unsuspected, just another slave. Then, a whisper, a betrayal within a betrayal. Another slave, perhaps out of fear or loyalty, murmured something to a passing guard. Alarm spread like wildfire. Vettius was seized, the dagger found. His silence, finally broken under interrogation. The Senate hushed the affair. No public trial, no scandal, just a quiet execution, another body lost to the Tiber. Yet, in that stolen, fleeting moment, the future of Rome, of an entire empire, had balanced precariously on a blade no longer than a forearm. Had he succeeded, the Ides of March, the Empire, Augustus, none of it might have been. Just a colossal question mark in history. Vettius is not remembered with statues or scrolls, but in the deepest corners of Rome's legacy, his shadow lingers. For history does not always belong to the victors. Sometimes, it belongs to the ones who almost won. Caesar would go on to rise, fall, and be immortalized in history. But for a moment, just a moment, the future of Rome stood on the edge of a stolen blade. Now, travel back even further. 73 BC. A gladiator named Spartacus dares to defy everything Rome stands for. Long ago, in the year 73 BC, a gladiator named Spartacus lived in a world ruled by the mighty Roman Empire. He was a man who dared to challenge everything Rome stood for. Rome's power was absolute. The Senate, with its stern faces and iron will, ruled with unwavering authority and sometimes great cruelty. Yet, even in the heart of this empire, a whisper of rebellion began to stir in the shadows. Spartacus was not born for bloodshed. He was a free man, but war had made him a prisoner. He was taken to Capua, a city known for its brutal gladiator schools, and forced to train, to kill for sport. The arena was a grim theater of death, where the sand drank deeply of blood. Here, Spartacus, once a free man, became property, a weapon forged for the entertainment of the Roman crowds. Under the constant, watchful eyes of his captors, Spartacus endured humiliation and torment. The roar of Roman crowds, thirsting for blood, echoed in his ears. But deep within him a storm was brewing, a quiet rage that grew with each passing day. With every blow he delivered in the arena, every parry and thrust, Spartacus was calculating. He was watching, observing his captors, his opportunities. He was waiting for the perfect moment. Then, one fateful night, alongside just 70 fellow gladiators, Spartacus seized his chance. With kitchen knives and makeshift weapons, they broke free from their prison, their hearts pounding with a desperate hope. They were not trained soldiers, nor were they seasoned warriors. They were just men, men with nothing left to lose and everything to fight for, their freedom. They escaped into the wild, untamed hills of Mount Vesuvius. At first, Rome laughed, dismissing them as a mere band of runaways. But soon, that laughter turned to a chilling fear. The rebellion was no longer a rumor. It was a powerful, growing movement. Across Italy, slaves heard the call. They abandoned their chains, leaving behind their lives of servitude, and rallied to Spartacus's banner. Farmers, servants, shepherds, all burned with a single, unyielding goal: freedom or death. And yet, one more tale remains, less known, perhaps more chilling. A story not carved in marble, not sung by poets, but whispered when no masters are near. In 55 BC, Senator Gaius Flaccus, arrogant, rich, cruel, took in a young kitchen slave from Gaul. She was just a girl, no older than 15, sold in chains after her village was burned. Her name, Thea, lost in the transaction. She was silent, obedient, invisible, until he died at his feast, foaming at the mouth. Poisoned wine. They say it happened in an instant. One moment, he was laughing. The next, clawing at his throat, eyes wide, gasping. Thea confessed, not in fear, but in pride. He whipped my brother, Brennus, to death, she said. This was justice. Her voice was steady, her eyes unblinking. It was not rage that drove her. It was memory. There was no trial. She was executed within the hour. A public message, swift and brutal. Her name wasn't written down. The Romans believed they erased her. That fear had been restored. That silence had returned. But the whispers remained. The slaves remembered. Her story passed in kitchens, in stables, in shadows. They called her the Vengeance of Gaul, a name she never claimed, but which history gave her nonetheless. To the elite, she was forgotten. To the forgotten, she became legend. Years later, a senator's son was caught torturing a servant. That night, he too died. The wine again laced with bitter almond. The same symptoms, the same silence, a ghost from the kitchens. Some said it was coincidence, others, a copycat. But older slaves said nothing, only glanced toward the kitchens and smirked. Perhaps it was vengeance reborn, or perhaps it never left. The powerful grew paranoid, tasted fear in every goblet, wondered who poured, who watched, who waited. The name of the girl lost in records, but immortal in fear. In silence, injustice served cold. Not a warrior, not a queen, just a nameless girl who reminded an empire that even the smallest spark can burn Rome to the ground.
If history leaves you curious and craving more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Join us on the journey through time, one forgotten echo at a time.